We're getting right into this video today. We're just doing some reactions here on reddit.com/r/notnation. Boom! November 24th, picture day freeform. Honestly, I've never seen nobody with freeform locks do a picture day like this. I think they're looking friggin' fantastic. Imagine showing up to your picture day photographer like, wagwan. Sick. I wish I could have done this back in high school days, but nope. I didn't grow dreads till after I was done school. This says, I'm 2 weeks and 1 day on my second set of freeform. This process is different because my back is locking quicker than my front. Any tips? I'm using a towel, by the way. The back locking quicker than the front is normal. The only tip I have is just to stay patient. Because we have our back of our head often on our pillow, back of chairs, the sofas, it's always being rubbed more frequently than the front, so it's gonna happen just on its own. You know, I wouldn't worry too much. Your dreads are already looking amazing. Just stick with the process, you know, straight up. First time doing freeforms. When should I expect them to grow and see some development? Let me know if I'm doing anything wrong and what I should fix. There's nothing you need to fix. There's nothing you're doing wrong. You just gotta literally live day by day. Let your locks form on their own. Try not to play with them. But you should definitely expect to see them to grow within around the 6 to 8 month mark. This is when our locks really start to develop, start to take shape, and have growth spurts from that far out. From then on out. Just stick to your guns. Stick with it. That's all we can do. Damn. 2.5 year freeforms. These are crazy because they're so thin. You know, maybe they've been separated along the way, but seeing like freeform dreadlocks so thin and so cylindrical, you know, it's kind of a rarity. Loving the monochrome black and white photography here. Is very dramatic, very moody, and black and white photography often makes dreadlocks pop a lot more. I do have a book here. It's called Dreads. It's a photo book about dreadheads. I think it's from the early 2000s, late 90s, but it's a fantastic book. I'd recommend picking it up if you haven't already. This book came out in 1997, which is, you know, eons ago. And it's got some really nice pictures, some really nice stories about dreadheads. Would highly recommend getting it. This picture just reminds me of that book. 1500 days later, I think this video is about him either cutting his hair or growing from it. Either way, his hair type is a really it's a lot looser of a curl, and these locks still came in fire. You know, they came in super thick. A lot of frizziness. It's a good sign of the freeform. You know, 1500 days is a lot. That's honestly, so that's some dedication right there. 10 months freeform dreads on 3B hair. Very cool. Yes, that one at the back reminds me of what I've got going on. It often ends up congoing quicker at the back, as I was mentioning before. And it's hard to film the back of your head by yourself. But yeah, those look dope. It's interesting how they have a different color tone on the tips compared to the new growth. Makes me think, was there any bleach or dye involved, or is that just a natural sun tone happening there? Almost a year and we going strong. Damn, some really nice texture. And that's just a year. So his hair grows slower than most. It's probably because of the tighter curl pattern that's going on here. But there's so much texture happening here. Very interesting. And now these are gonna have a really gnarly growth as they start to congo up, form together. These are gonna make some really epic dreads, definitely. I've been trying to grow freeform. This is my first time. Let me know, what am I doing wrong? Is this the same dude from earlier? There's nothing that you could be doing wrong when you're freeforming. Unless you're sitting there with a crochet hook or getting them retwisted. Like, that's kind of the only thing you can do wrong with trying to freeform your hair. Freeforms are meant to be just left alone. Let them be. They'll come together on their own. So patience is the only way. Just stay at it day by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year, and you'll have those dreadlocks formed freely. 3.5 years freeformed. It's got the beanie, the tam on, rolled up, dreads flowing down the sides, tam off, tips looking heavily blunted, tips looking nice. A lot of frizzy hair on the side. Dang, it's a sick look. These are some Brazilian locks, but he said he had to cut them starting a new job as a bartender. Very crazy. Wispy tips, blonde dreads. And this is the new look now as the bartender. Crazy. He looks just as happy. It must have been a good journey. Almost 1 year, 2 months. Crazy. Yes, the back. We've got a lot of dreadheads growing some backhead Congos right now. Looking sick. Makes me so happy to see the community coming together and sharing their dreadlock pictures and videos over on Reddit. What? Wash day in Dominican. His dreads look a lot thinner. Definitely on that like 6, 7, 8 year mark. And he's soaping up his roots. I don't tend to do that so much with the full lock. I don't try to rub soap too far down into there. I just focus on the scalp, but I mean, teach their own. But to have a climate like this to grow dreadheads is phenomenal. To be able to sit outside and just bathe your locks in the sun, in the warm air, is a magical thing. Damn. 3 months in. Neglect. No maintenance. Just separation. These are looking crazy. Now, there was a whole issue with this gentleman's locks here on the channel. Just a whole bunch of commotion back and forth between people really trying to, like, I don't want to say gatekeep, but they're kind of sticking it to him. And I feel like it's because he uses the word neglect. A lot of people don't like to hear the word neglect with dreadlocks, but neglect basically just means freeform. And even if someone is like neglecting their hair, they're truly still taking care of it to some extent, whether it's a wash here once every year or something, or they're slightly separating something out of the way. I don't think anyone truly really neglects their dreadlocks. And when people will call them neglected dreadlocks, there always is an upheaval of conversation about it. I remember when I first started this YouTube channel, there was a lot more people on the internet calling their journeys neglected dreads, and you don't really hear it as much these days, especially since the word freeform has kind of taken over a lot more. Yeah, it's just interesting about the whole connotation of the word neglected dreadlocks now. So this guy actually did start his hair with a crochet hook, and he let them go from there, and they have turned out to be phenomenal. It's really cool to see like the wooden beads put in place and the different shapes and the clumpiness that's going on. It's got some wispy tips. Some tips are trying to form into blunted. Like, they look great. 2 years and some change. Freeforms. Crazy. These got like the whole hand lock style going on here. Very sick. Almost looks like this photo was taken after a wash. They're very heavy set in this picture. Amazing. I feel like I got some more in me here. I got some more in me. Damn, 3 months only splitting. Very early in the stage in the game right now. Very early in the game. He's got a very loose curl pattern, but this is a crazy texture to start some freeform dreads with. Like, I guarantee you they're gonna clump together real nice, have some super thick locks by the end of his journey. Freeform locks, I'm trying to get them to look like this, but here's where I'm at. Ah, I see. Rule number 1, don't ever try to get your locks to look like somebody else, especially if they're freeform. Hair thinning or tension? It's not thinning. I've been in this position before. Turns out my hair wasn't thinning at all. It's just tension, it's just the weight, it's just the natural way your locks separated there. Nothing to worry about, just keep on growing. That's all you can do. Afro to freeform locks. Crazy. Damn. It's actually funny, someone was asking about how to make their hair look like The Weeknd's, and this guy reminds me of The Weeknd in this photo. I feel like he's one of the few people that could actually imitate The Weeknd's hairstyle, but it still wouldn't really work because I can see that his locks aren't growing the same way. He's just got the same face structure as him. But these locks are fire. These locks are fire. Decided to not start over, and it's been a little over a year. If you're ever questioning yourself if you should start over your dreadlock journey, oftentimes it's not worth it. Just keep on going, and they will turn out in time. You just got to give them the right amount of due diligence, the right amount of effort and trust that they're gonna do their thing. You know, there's a lot of people that are impatient growing their hair out, and you just gotta let it take course. Don't even focus on it, just live your life. 3C type hair locked up. It's got some red dye in there. Looks a little bit longer at the back. It's definitely bleached the front a little bit. Looking pretty good. It's looking dope. And lastly here, we'll do the real meaning of freeform locks, wash and go. And these are coming in really sick. What? That's a good before and after picture to see how they've literally formed together. He's done no separating, and it was like that gentleman earlier I was talking about with the shorter hair and the heavier texture, that they'll form great. This is a great example of how those are going to turn out. Incredible. Well, anyways, that's about it for today. I'm going to log off. Thank you guys for tuning in to this dreadlock review here on Reddit. If you haven't joined the Reddit page yet, it's here on the bottom of the screen. Links in the description, reddit.com/r/notnation. And we are growing that page quite well. Probably one of the biggest freeform dreadlock groups on Reddit, and definitely the nicest with next to none toxicity in that group as well. So come by, share your locks. You don't even have to have freeform locks. You can just post your picture up. The only thing I say is just don't spam, love each other, and don't come in that group thirst trapping people, because those types of posts are annoying where they're like, oh, look at my locks, but then, like, you know, their bosoms are out and it's more bosom in the shot than their actual hair. It's like, nah. And then you find out that person's only there promoting a certain website. It's like, nah, we don't want that. We don't want none of that. See you later, brethren.